It's lovely to have you on Testify podcast.
Shanks.
Odine, you shared on a Sunday, would have been, like early on when we'd moved into that venue.
Yeah, I think it was the second week when we...
Yeah.
Second or first? Oh, no, first.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Because I remember saying yes to it when it was still in the old building.
Yes.
And I was like, that's easy. It's two small services. It's okay.
Heaps of people did that, eh?
And then next minute you're on stage, big lights. It's like, oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was the same as Sammy's.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sammy's like, Samantha was going to preach, and she's like, oh, God, I just want to preach once. And then so it's just the bigger service.
I remember.
She's like, oh.
Why did I ask
You
that?
prayed for that.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. Because it is a bit more intimidating when you're up on stage.
Totally. Yeah.
You're looking sort of more down on the people.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a different feel.
I agree.
But it was good.
Yeah. Well done. And I think courageous.
Thanks.
Very courageous. And I appreciate that. It's really cool.
I missed it, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was watching no, Copeland. Kenneth Copeland, so
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hear the end of it.
You never should have said it, eh?
Well, at least it's better than like, I did nothing.
Yeah.
Skip church and did nothing.
I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah,
That's what I should've
wrong
rolled.
answer.
Yeah.
No, so how long have you been in Australia?
13 years.
Okay.
I keep having to think. 2008. So 13 years I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Where were you born?
South Africa.
Oh, cool.
Safa.
You don't have the Safa.
My only reason that I can explain this is my home language is Afrikaans. So when I speak English, I think, because I only started speaking English really here. So when I went to school, grade 11 and 12, I sort of picked it up a little bit the way Australians talk. But then a lot of people say I sounded a little bit more American or whatever.
About to say that.
I blame that on telly.
Yes.
I watched a lot of telly when I was little. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of American shows in
South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 100%. You can hear that, and that's the same with like Pedro's daughter.
Oh yeah.
And kids that grow up.
You're like bold and beautiful. Ricky Lake.
Oh my gosh. We're in midday soaps already.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that's where I picked up the accent. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really speak English though in South Africa.
It's like when kids have here at school, they have like what's the language?
Japanese.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's one thing to I can say a sentence or say hi, how are you, how you going? But
Count
to
to
actually
10.
but to actually live it out and be yourself in it. So my humor, I always say, is a lot funny in Afrikaans. But when you're trying to be funny in English or because you can't think that quick, be like witty, that sort of stuff. So your everyday language is. Yeah, you can have it as... So we always had English as a subject at school.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean you can necessarily just do life in it.
Do you think in English now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not when I do math.
Oh, random.
Yeah, no. I need to count. And it's probably a bit embarrassing, but I still can't say my alphabet properly in English. All the way through. I get to like MN and I'm like, get a bit confused. But...
Wow.
I mean, why would I need to say the alphabet?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not that funny because I think I still struggle. So let's just move on. All right.
How many letters in the alphabet there?
A, D, E.
So yeah, alphabet in English and maths I have to do in Afrikaans.
Right.
Do you remember when you started dreaming in English?
No.
Do you still dream in Afrikaans?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I think I dream in English. But that's a hard one. I don't know.
But
I definitely think in English, like when I'm speaking and stuff, like writing, all that sort of stuff is a lot easier now to do in English rather than Afrikaans.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved here in 2008.
Yes.
What was the reason to move?
So obviously, I think when people look at South Africa, they can understand what it has become and beautiful country, love it there, but. We were obviously from a very young age. It was always just my mum and my sister and me. So as 3 women, like safety was probably the first big thing. And also by the time, like it's probably now a lot worse. But when we were there, the country was starting to get to the point where, unfortunately, based on different skin colors, your work was affected. So if you weren't necessarily the right skin color, then you couldn't necessarily get jobs anymore. So even
Right.
if you did end up going to uni, finishing uni, you probably wouldn't really get a job.
Wow.
So yeah, unless you had family business and that sort of stuff, we knew that would be quite hard. So like I said previously, we got an amazing opportunity to actually come. I mean, it's very unlikely for us to have come in the first place. So when we got blessed with that, I just said to Mum, look, we have to go. If we don't like it, we can come back.
Right.
But this opportunity might not come again. So let's
So
just
you
go.
were 16 roughly.
Yeah, 16 going on 17. Yeah.
And your sister?
She finished grade 12 in South Africa. And so
Okay.
she started uni uni here.
Right.
And Mum was, I think, 48.
Right. So there's the three of you.
Yeah, just the three of us.
And sorry, how did you get blessed? Like, what did that mean?
So we basically got sponsored to come. So we
From who?
well, I call her my auntie, but she's not blood. It's like,
Okay.
Yeah. So she grew up with Mum, this lady. She's an amazing friend of Mum still. So she and her husband, they kind of were in South Africa. This lady grew up with my mum, and my grandma actually there's a connection there.
Okay.
But long story short, yeah, they came over, and she just said to Mum, look, you can either stay here with the girls, I can help look after them, but it's going to be hard. Me being all the way in Australia and you're back home, so I have the opportunity for you to come over if you want to come.
Oh, wow.
So we were just like, yep, let's go.
Apparently, even though it was difficult back then, it's even harder now, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So how amazing is
it
that?
It still took us 7 years to actually get our residency. So when we came in 2008, we were student visas, all three of us, for 7 years until we actually got...
Student visas for 7 years.
Yeah. So I had to do 2 years of school, then I had to do 4 years... Okay, that's only 6 years, but 4 years of uni. And then only when I finished my uni could I sponsor my mum. And Mum sort of had to just... she had to keep studying little courses.
Little English course. Yeah.
Management,
Yeah.
like all this sort of stuff.
That would have cost a fortune.
I know. And we were blessed. Like, we paid as much as we could.
Sure.
But, yeah, without God, it would have been impossible because it's thousands.
Yeah.
And in Rand, obviously, it's a lot of money.
So you're the God stuff, right? So were you believers when you came over here?
Yeah. So that's why it's hard when people ask, like, oh, so when did your journey start? Cause
Right.
And sometimes I think that's why I sort of mentioned that I feel like there's not a God moment.
Sure.
Like, because it's been, thankfully, it's been there throughout life. So in South Africa, I think Christianity is a bit more traditional thing. So you grow up with it and you still have it in schools and that sort of stuff. So since I can remember, we've been in church, went to Sunday school, all that sort of stuff. And when we were 10 or 12, we went to a Pentecostal church. Mum took us there. So we got like baptized, and I remember getting like dunked in front of the big church with your little white robe. So it was, so I remember all that sort of stuff. And we've always had that sort of relationship with God, but I think it's only since we came here that there was a lot more growth.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a lot more growth. It moved away from it just being a bit more of a tradition and sort of a religion. Yeah.
For all three of you.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it makes sense for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, you're becoming your own person and making your own decisions, but for your mum as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
like, we sometimes are like, how the heck did we not learn these things or know about these things that we're learning now? How did we never... Because if you look at, like, say, for instance, Kenneth Hagin and that sort of stuff, this is, like, 1940s or 50s.
Totally.
And you're like, where was this when we were in South Africa? It was around.
It was there.
Well, that's the thing. We never... I don't know what we did, but we never... Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like we just had an eye-opening moment since we've been here. And it's just been our journey. It's kind of...
Yeah. Well, it's 13 years you've been... No. 13 years, 13 years.
I think it's still 13 or it's a 14 in
14,
Feb.
something like that.
Is it coming to 14? Yeah.
6 plus 2. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
You did the math.
Do your math in Afrikaans. So, the three of... How did it become just the three of you?
So, so we moved out of the house when I was about 12, I think it was.
Okay.
Like the testimony, like Dad was sort of an abusive alcoholic. So unfortunately, Mum was with Dad for 18 years, but they got a point where it was like, this is too much.
Right.
And sort of the safety for me and my sister, she realized she had to,
Move
to
out.
get out. Yeah. So that's when it was. Yeah, when I was 12, there was one night where something happened, and Mum just literally the next day, she had enough courage and enough stuff has happened over the years that she's like, no, till this point, and we had.
So this went on for a while.
Yeah. So I think unfortunately, ever since since Mum knew Dad, it was before when they were going out. That was
really
but. Sometimes we make choices. So she's, still went into the marriage, had us.
I suppose there's always this sort of like hope that it'll get better.
That's exactly what, and that's what I think Dad said to her, that, these things will change. It will get better.
Yeah,
and
I'll try.
Obviously she loved him. So, was hoping that once he settles down and has the kids that things will change. And I don't think it, like Mum always says, it wasn't as bad as it became.
Right.
I think he just got more comfortable and obviously in his ways, and things just progressed to a point where it was,
not good.
Not good. No.
Wow.
So until how old were you when your mum left?
12. Okay. Yeah, 11, 12, yeah.
Was it literally like, we're going to run now?
Well, there was constant running throughout the 12 years. Literally every Thursday, Friday, we'd start sort of, me and my sister had it was our job to normally pack the bags. While Dad was sitting and sort of drinking, and then Mum would sort of just sit in an armchair in the living room because we couldn't give anything away because then he'd know. So then me and my sister would sort of go and get our bags, take them to the car, and then normally, because Mum, we had this one armchair, and normally Mum would sit here, I would sit here, Vanette would sit here. So that's why we were very close. It was always just us three, very close. And it to some degree did annoy my dad a fair bit that we were that close. But I mean, the situation or the circumstances sort of pushed us that way. So yeah, we would sit, and then me and Vanette would take the stuff to the car, and then at some point Mum would just be like, right, well, Andre, I see you're busy, so we'll leave you for the night, and then it's on, because that normally would spark aggression from Dad, because he wouldn't want us to leave. So
he'd just want you to stay there while he just drank.
Pretty much, yeah. And
was there anyone else there?
No, it's just us four. And then normally, then he would, we would jump up and run to the car, and one would throw. That time you didn't have the remote garage, so one would have to chuck the garage up, and Mum would jump in. She had a little red Toyota, and we'll all just jump in and reverse out. And as we drive off, you can see, if you look back, just there's Dad standing in the driveway yelling at us. And that was sort of every weekend we'd have to go to friends' house.
Was that because Thursday, Friday was the drinking would start?
Yeah, it used to be only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but then it started happening Thursdays and then Wednesdays, so it kind of progressed and got worse over the years, unfortunately.
You said you were at a church.
Yes.
And they would never.
They were aware of it, and we had. That's why I say God was always there, because we had friends who took us in for 6 months. So we would live in one of their rooms, and we lived with them, with the dad and the mum and the 2 kids that went to school with us as well. So they took us in for a whole 6 months. But then we'd go back again, because Dad would say, "Oh,
it's all good now.
It's all good now." So then we'll go back. And people try to help, but you can't really help someone that doesn't want help.
Yeah.
And if they can't admit that they have a problem, how can you? Yeah.
So was there when you moved to Australia? Was that or your friend said they would sponsor you? Was that intentional because your friends knew the situation, or? Yeah,
so this friend specifically, like I said, she and Mum grew up together.
Okay.
So they were basically like sisters. And she was, and once again, if it wasn't for her throughout our life, because she helped Mum financially all throughout our lives, helping us through school.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why she's just a godsend, because if it wasn't for her, I mean, that's a lot of reasons why women probably stay with their husbands that are abusive, because they don't have the financial help to get out.
That's true.
Yeah, so we thankfully she actually gave Mum work and all that sort of stuff. So Mum always worked for her, and not always, but there was a period that Mum worked for her. And also, she always helped us financially. So she made it possible for Mum then that final time as well to just say, okay, I'll get you a place, move out, take the kids. Because at that stage, actually, when we did finally move out from Dad, we moved closer to her. She was in Funnabell Park, whereas we used to live in Kimberley. So we then made the move, and moved a bit closer to her so she
Right.
can help us a bit more as well.
Is she still in your lives now?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Is she on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, she's on the Gold Coast. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, we have our whole lives pretty much. Like, we know it's ultimately from God,
Of course.
but to give, just thank you to her.
Is she a believer?
Yeah, she is, yeah. And that's the thing, she grew up with nothing, but she's been so abundantly blessed by God, but she's like the most like generous person I know, and I think that's why she's used by God so amazingly, because he just sees she does not keep anything for herself. She just gives and gives. Yeah,
How
because
awesome,
we're not the
eh?
only people she's done this with.
Wow.
Yeah, she's done
I was actually just thinking of that. I was thinking she might only think she's helped one or two families, but in God's economy,
Oh,
like
man.
why don't you, like
yeah.
she's actually rescued you.
Oh, absolutely. And she's helped a lot of other people as well come to
Wow.
Australia, other family and stuff. So
How
she's
awesome is
amazing.
that?
And then your kids will be
Yeah.
blessed from what she's
Exactly.
done.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, so she's had a very massive impact on a lot of
Yeah.
people's lives. Yeah,
That's so
knowingly
cool.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah. And she wouldn't be doing it for anything else
No,
than just
no.
out of obedience
Yep.
to the Lord, right?
Exactly.
Well, what
yeah.
can she gain from it?
Well, nothing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is your dad out of the picture completely still?
Yeah, so Dad passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Thankfully, we did go back to South Africa because we haven't gone back for like 10 years or something. And then we sort of thought, it's about time we go back. And Dad was kind of a little bit ill as well at that point. So we went back. I think we saw him in October and he passed away in the December. Yeah.
man.
So, but it was good to just thankfully that we have gone back and seen him. But yeah, we've always, for me, it was always hard because I'm like, how can you miss someone you didn't really know? Unfortunately, with growing up, I don't think I established like a real relationship with my
Connection with
dad.
him.
Yeah. So, because in South Africa as well, the females, well, this is from our experience, generally the females take care of the kids. It's not like here and probably in New Zealand where the dads are quite involved.
Yeah.
It's very much the female sort of. So mum did all of that. And obviously because we were in and out of the house, I feel like, I never really.
Wow.
So when I was here, yes, I would have loved a father, but I didn't really miss my dad that much because I didn't really know him.
Right.
Which is kind of sad, but it's true.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So he passed away now. So.
Wow. And did he have, well, you sort of repeat like he mustn't have had close family or?
No, and that's a sad thing, and that's, I think, partly what God's done for us to help us understand as well, is just knowing that he never had any
Sure.
Yeah.
sort of proper,
Like I said, it repeats.
people helping him, and his dad did the same to him. So you can only feel sorry for someone like that.
Yeah, of course.
Because it was him, his two sisters, and he basically used to protect his mother and the two sisters from his dad that did exactly the same thing. So to some degree, you can only feel sorry and say, wow, like Satan's really stolen, the enemy has really stolen from them and in their lives as well, just repeating the same stuff. But so thankfully when it came to me and my sister, that stopped.
God placed a little angel in your lives. And
Yes, absolutely.
What's the lady's name? Oh, not
Oh,
okay.
no, no.
Okay.
No, that's okay.
That's cool. That's cool. I get it.
If that's all right. Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out
Yeah,
to
that's
that lady.
Just want to honour her.
Yes.
Hey, that's
Auntie.
Yeah.
Auntie, Auntie, that's it.
that's
it, yeah.
man. Like, and how beautiful that you just explained that. You know, Satan robs.
Yeah.
He robs because that's what he does. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yep.
And God just not this generation.
Exactly.
So I'm coming in.
Yeah, and it's kind of, not that I say the boys, but I sometimes wonder what would have happened if mum had a son and there was like the two girls or a son or something. You'd never know. I don't know if things would have,
Right.
again, because it's sort of like that name even, Retif, like it sort of stops
Right.
with us. It just, it stopped and it's just me and my sister. And thankfully God's, we've always though been not cautious, but vigilant of it, because I think the word also says we need to be aware and vigilant of these things. So we never really went out and played around with alcohol because mum was quite conscious of it.
Of course,
She probably still is
fearful.
now.
Yeah.
Now, like, do I smell alcohol? So she's still probably a little bit aware of it, and so are we. So we don't play around with alcohol.
Yeah.
Purely because you don't want to give the devil that footstool,
Yeah, that's
that
it.
hold
Yeah.
on you. Don't even just go there. So
That's amazing. So, a relationship with God, like obviously Auntie had quite a big. Could you really see God operating through her?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
But when did sort of Christ become real for you? Like,
Yeah, nice.
That's always a hard one because I'm like...
not the big poof, like,
yeah,
whoa!
Yeah, well, Mum always reminds me of this one time we were driving in the car and we just had like one of those moments with Dad jumping in the car, driving away. And I remember it was kind of dark, Mum's crying, sister's in the front, and I'm sitting at the back, and all I remember saying something was like, Mum, I really know God wants us to be with him. And she, even to this day, I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I said that. I was a little kid. I probably didn't have any understanding of what was going on, but I've had this, I just like, for some reason I knew at that age that God's protecting us and he wants us with him. Because Dad, like, there were stages where Dad chased us around with a gun. Like, stuff got real. Like, we ran to the maze hut, like, little hut outside, and if she didn't have a steel door, like, we would have been shot. We sometimes think about neighbors, and we're like, how do people let this go on and not call the police? Because now we can laugh at it. It's kind of funny because you play these scenes over in your head, but like, legit, like, there was moments seeing Dad strangle Mum, and we're standing there thinking, how is this? So in all those moments, like I say, as we were driving away that one night, I just remember saying that God really wants us to be with him because it's only him that could have protected us throughout all those things that were going on. Like, so I think from a young age, he was real. Just us being alive, us making it out another night, like, he was real. Because I remember reading my Bible and like highlighting little things as a kid, and I don't know, for some reason I really loved the Bible, made little bookmarks and stuff. I probably didn't understand all of the stuff that was in there, and I didn't probably read all of it, but I don't know, I don't actually know when it happened, but I just...
So what was your like secret place with the Lord? Like, was it like music, or was it writing, or was it...
Probably music as I got older. So when I was little, I probably don't really know what that was, but definitely as I got older, worship, like, that's just been a real passion of mine. And
was that sort of like just became like a go-to?
Yes, yep. And it's strange. I always thought, when I was younger, I always thought sports was my thing, and then I tore both my ligaments, and I got, knee constructions, and so then I was in a bit of a not a bad place, but a little bit of a depressed, and that's when music sort of became the more focal point, because I was like, you know what? If I break my ligament, I can still play my guitar. No one's going to take that away. Yeah. So that's when music sort of, and that's where I started, I guess, just becoming aware of how I love music and the worship.
What age were you then?
That was when we were here. So
okay.
So I always played a bit of guitar, but it was sort of on the side. Yeah. Not really. But it's only when we came here, so when I was at 17. Yeah, that's when it probably started.
Is your mum musical?
Her family is very musical.
Oh, wow.
So all her uncles and my nephews and that sort of stuff back home, they're very musical people.
Sister?
She is musical, but she does not play an instrument. But I'm sure she wanted to, she could.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's more the athlete.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not an athlete, no. I'm more the music person, yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's probably more my go-to thing for that is definitely worship, yeah.
Yeah. I suppose, like, it sounds pretty traumatic. What? Like, from just sitting here. Like, you sort of pretty relaxed about it.
Yeah, you know, we don't always realize how not shocking it is, like, when you tell people, but I think because we've spoken about it so many times, you can, like I say, we can only laugh about it to some degree. Yeah.
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 Because I'm like, flip, a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Seeing someone strangling someone. I'm like, that's like pretty intense. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just like, wow. That's full on.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's not good.
No.
You know.
No.
It's really sad. I just find that really disturbing that you know, I've got 3 daughters and a son. Yeah, I just think that's really sad to think. That there are so many families like that.
I think it's like when we did Mate.
Yeah,
it was just an eye opener to realize how many people are actually, how many people are suffering in that. Yeah, and not able to get out.
Yeah.
praise God that we had an out. Yeah.
Well, maybe your mum felt stuck in there, and if your auntie hadn't have sponsored you.
Well, yeah.
You know.
So we moved out 3 years prior to coming to Australia. Yeah. So we moved out, but I feel like there had to be a point where, I don't know. I think a lot of women would probably agree that's in the same situation. You take and you take and you take, and there's hope of things getting better. And because Mum also knew, like, we had the house. There's a lot of stuff that would have changed for us having to go out and move away from Dad. So obviously it wasn't just a light decision.
No,
it's a roof over our head.
Yeah.
It's all these sorts of things because to a lot of, in a big way, Mum was very still dependent on Dad financially and all that sort of stuff. So us moving out, they had to just, I think the thing that solidifies it, like I said, is the night when Dad actually grabbed my sister. He didn't abuse her or anything, but he grabbed her in aggression. And that's the night when Mum realized, like, he's always just grabbed her. He's always just grabbed Mum, abused Mum. But when he directed that then towards the kids, towards my sister, that was the final straw for Mum, because then she knew, at that stage my sister was 13.
Right.
So it's important years of development and sort of going into high school and that sort of stuff. And I think even at that stage, then my sister started, life was not fun anymore for her. So Mum knew if she wasn't going to do something about it then she might even lose her daughters.
She saw it progress for herself, and then he crossed the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though he crossed the line.
No, but
you know what I mean.
But yeah. No, but I get it. Because in that moment, maybe she was like, it only started here with me.
Yeah.
And then it ended up here, and now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your mum's amazing.
Mum is amazing. She doesn't realize it.
Wow.
I sometimes think that she's got not the biggest. Yeah, she doesn't realize what she's done for us and how strong she is.
Yeah.
Because she left everyone behind. I mean, we grew up quite separate from the rest of the family. Me and my sister,
from cousins and that.
Yeah. So we're not very, very close with our cousins, but I mean, Mum has her 3 brothers back home. So she left everything back there to come to a new country that we've never been, never seen, to know anything about. We just landed here.
That's amazing. And, we're not here to tell your mum's story, but obviously she's very humble at the same time, like... You know?
Yes.
Just put up with it for years.
Mum's very submissive, and she'll do what she needs to do. I don't know, and she's just got so much love still to give. You would think in other that people become quite bitter and hard because of the sort of the cards they've been dealt in life, but Mum's gone through a lot of stuff.
Massive.
And she's just still a very lovely person.
Yeah.
She's a strong woman.
And she loves the Lord, which is amazing. We've seen her grow as well as we've come here and seen her relationship grow with the Lord. So that's been really good.
So what stopped your heart from getting bitter and hard towards God, towards men, which is sort of justifiable, right?
I was going to ask the question, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I was thinking about it earlier. But in talking about your mum, it would make sense for me that your mum wore that. From how you explain it to me, because I was going to ask, how's your image of men now? How are you trusting men and stuff like that? But I actually believe in partly answering the question, sort of, like I said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but your mum, it sounds like she wore all of that. You guys were somewhat protected from the worst of it.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so
yeah, like sort of even just Mum's image then of men and how she views it, and that kind of then being passed down to us as her daughters as well. Yeah. I think Mum's been quite Obviously, I think like any father or mother would be protective over
Yeah.
their kids. So whenever there has been any interest in males and that sort of stuff, mum's very much. She's never given me the impression that she doesn't like men, if that makes sense.
Right.
That's never come across. Because she also has 3 lovely brothers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, wow.
3 lovely brothers.
Yeah.
They're nice. So I think she also, and she had a good father. So
Yeah.
to some degree, I think she knows what
Wow.
what a good man and a loving man is. She unfortunately didn't necessarily experience that for herself. But yeah, she's never given us the impression to hate men or anything like that.
That's cool.
For me and my
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and once again, I think that's only God's work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only God's work that He can do that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I don't necessarily have an explanation for, but I'm like, man, it's for me. I think I, from a young age, just spoke a lot about it. Sometimes I probably would embarrass mum. Like I would tell my friend at school what happened, and mum's like, "How are you telling your friends at school what we're going through at home?" So I think I just spoke about stuff.
Okay.
And kind of that's how I probably
Processed.
process it. It just
Wow.
got it off my chest because I think that fester. You even had a thing about it, like a Sunday sermon about it, like just that festering. You don't want stuff to fester.
Ah.
If you sit on it and you think about it, you're just gonna
Rot.
So I think that's partly how I got through it, is just talking about it and not thinking about it too much. And obviously at the end of the day, God never brought, it's not Him that caused these things.
No.
So I can never be like, oh, why did you do this? So I will never, that's never a thought that's crossed my mind to say, oh, it's his fault for this stuff happening. We're in a sinful world, unfortunately. So
Yeah. And people make choices.
yeah,
Right.
and just purely the fact that we've been protected and where we
Yeah.
are now, like we can only see good of God. Like we
Yeah.
cannot, there's no bitterness or anything I can have towards God in this at all. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I was going to say, maybe there's like stuff that I don't know about.
No, we're not thinking that.
Yeah.
Let's not dig
Let's
deep.
not deal with it today.
It's beyond my pay grade.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's, I don't know.
That's cool.
I think it's
Yeah, and
Only
you're
God. Only
so
God.
you went to uni here.
yes. did
So
4
Australia's been great to you.
Australia has been great.
Yeah.
It's definitely the land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree. Yeah.
So and so 4 years of uni, lots of tears.
What'd you study?
Civil engineering.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
No
Breathe.
maths in
Yeah,
that.
just
No maths in that.
This is the annoying part. It's so much math, and now I think back and I'm like, I can't remember anything I did in 4 years. It's depressing. But yeah, no, it was definitely, it was hard. But I knew, I think the most, how they say, the why behind what you're doing
Yeah.
or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was literally my mum's ticket in, because I had to sponsor mum then as my dependent.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, because all the other things on the list kept changing. Like if you do hairdressing, that was on the list to come into Australia.
But
Mum
then that
did that, and then it
changed.
took just halfway get through, and then they're like, oh no, we're taking that one off the
Wow.
list. So stuff just kept changing and changing, but thankfully the engineering was always up there, and
Oh, cool.
yeah. So it's been
So you're actually a fully fledged Australian citizen?
yes, sir.
Oh,
We
that's
are.
awesome.
Mhm.
You're
Yes, all
more
3 of us.
secure here than I am.
I'll sponsor you.
Please. I only have 4 children.
No, that's cool. That's cool. We'll make a way. Yeah. No deal.
Run.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well
Yeah,
done.
So praise God for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm.
So, I suppose endurance and perseverance is something in your genes, in your blood.
It suffers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, it's definitely not easy, and unfortunately, a lot of families, I guess, immigrant, which one is it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Both.
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
coming here or going wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving your home. I think
Yeah.
anyone can testify to it being. It's not easy. Your people, your culture,
Yeah.
everything that you leave behind. But at the end of the day, we knew that. I guess to some degree, we knew we couldn't go back. There was nothing
Yeah.
to go back to,
Yeah.
so we had to make it work.
So I know a lot of Kiwis do this as well.
Mm.
Like you say, back home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, not.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Australia home?
Look, if South Africa wasn't what South Africa was, I would probably go back.
Really?
Mm.
Wow, there's a deep love.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just
Wow.
it's home. But we went back for holiday and I couldn't stand the 3 weeks that we were there. No, because legit, you're so scared. I was just paranoid the whole time.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's
horrible.
just, and you can't live, you're absolutely like living in fear. Well, I was.
Wow.
I don't know how people live there and not be in fear, but I think the people there now, like home, they're so used to it that
Right.
it's just everyday life for them.
Jeez.
But once you come here and you see what real freedom looks like and security and that sort of stuff, and then you go back, you're just like, how do people think this is okay? So I wouldn't be able, like, if it stays the way it is now, I wouldn't go back.
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't be able to go back. I wouldn't. This is, to some degree, it is home, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah, Australia's home now for me.
Yeah, you wouldn't go back to NZ ever?
Nah.
True.
Unless the Lord said.
Yeah. Go back.
Yeah. Said, no, you're lying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought just interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is because Sammy, she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so she's got her whole family back there.
Brazil.
Brazil and Australia's home.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
wow.
it's just
Yeah.
different.
But
That's
see,
okay.
I mean, if I'm faced with a reality tomorrow, would I say the same thing? I don't know. Because, I mean, I have for the past 13 years established proper relationship here.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I probably am more, the people here are more my family than what my family back home
Yeah.
is my family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easier probably said than done.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Hey.
So,
It's probably somewhat the childish dream of, like, you know, maybe what it was as a kid.
Exactly. And when our rugby team plays, I'll always, like, my rugby team's always, but then when we sing, like, the anthem, I can't help but get, like, emotional. That's that connection, the South African anthem. Do you know?
See, I
like,
chopped New Zealand, eh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I support Australia now. Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Thank you.
can't. No one blames you, man.
Yeah. I know.
South Africa first. If South Africa's not playing, I would probably still support the Kiwis.
Wow.
Shucks.
Nah. So, chapel?
Chapel's been a big blessing to us.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you've been there a year and a bit now?
Yes, we came May last year. No. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we only came May last year.
Wow.
So it's not even a year yet.
Feels way longer than that.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when we started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and praise God, very fortunate because it's the first time we feel like we have community.
Oh,
family.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
that's
really-
good.
Yeah, that's really been good.
Because when you moved from South Africa, you came straight to Gold Coast?
Yep.
So you've been on the Gold Coast for 13
For
years.
13 years.
And in the last year and not even a year,
Not even a year. We've
you
been
felt like it's been the best or closest community you've had.
Yep.
Apart from
nice.
obviously your auntie and all that. She's
Yeah.
always there, but wow.
Absolutely. So it's been a big blessing for us. I don't know why we didn't find chapel earlier. I really don't know. But
Because
anyway.
you didn't hear about it, probably.
No, we didn't, which is probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one knows about chapel
Yeah.
until then.
Golden nugget, like you said.
Hidden treasure.
Find it.
Got to find it.
How did you come to chapel?
So you know Katie that was on here the
Yeah.
few years. So Katie's husband Andy is my boss at work. So when Andy and Katie started coming,
Oh,
Kate and Andy?
yeah.
yeah. So when they started coming to chapel, Andy knew I was looking for a church, and he said at work, "Well, come to this one." He said, "I'm pretty sure it's not," because he came a few times to chapel, and he's like, "I'm pretty sure it's not the honeymoon period. Like, this place is really amazing." He gave it a couple of Sundays, so yeah, he's like, it is really amazing. You should come. And so then I came along, and then as me and Mum, I don't even think the service started. We just had like Panina and the team doing worship, and we cried, and every
Wow.
Sunday after that during worship we cried. It's like, why am I even wearing makeup? I'm just gonna come and cry. So then yeah, ever since then it's just been literally not miss a Sunday until today.
It is noted. I'll follow. I'll give your mum a call tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just been
Wow.
home since then.
That's really cool. And you're finding you're building some friendship and
Yeah.
a bit more depth and outside of the Sunday thing.
That's the thing, and that's the main thing. Previously, and not anything bad against any other churches or whatever, but the young people, there was in previous churches wasn't the community amongst the young people weren't as what it is at chapel,
Right.
and obviously that would come from up. Like I feel like whatever happens at the top kind
Sure.
of filters down to the young people and whatever. So yeah, it's definitely been a lot different. At previous churches, which we really because we've always been in church since we've came here, to Australia, but it's only last year and not
Awesome.
even.
Oh well, we certainly enjoying the journey with you guys. Are you the more extrovert or something? Because your mum and sister seem quite quiet.
I'm the man of the house. A little bit like
extrovert more.
Well, I wouldn't even say I'm an extrovert though. I do not get my energy from people. I love people.
Sure.
But I definitely gain my energy being alone and doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Doing your own little woodwork stuff.
Yes.
Ooh,
Pottery.
What sort of woodwork stuff? You're an engineer.
Yes, but for some reason I think I should have been a tradie. I enjoy doing stuff with my hands, and I do woodwork. So yeah, that's something that I enjoy.
Like restore furniture and stuff.
Do you?
Make
build
furniture and stuff.
I'm not like amazing.
How
at
cool
it,
is that
but
though?
I can.
Have you got a toolkit?
She's got a garage.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Everything.
What tools you running?
A table saw, a drop saw.
Nah, but like what brand are you using?
Makita.
Oh, yeah.
And saw stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've got all my stuff sorted. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I should have become a.
It's never too late.
Maker.
But so that you find that.
Yeah, that's more than
can block away.
Yeah, I love people, but I have my maximum, like my
Sure.
limit, and then I kind of need to just retract and mum and my sister would be the same. Mum actually, she's more of a social butterfly than I am.
Really?
But I reckon it's her English. She's
Aw.
not. Yeah, I know. She uses that as an
Typical South African,
I
that
know.
generation, eh?
Absolutely.
That's terrible, man.
She just loves. She would talk your ear off. She loves
Right.
people, and she would talk to anyone, and kids especially and stuff as well. So yeah, she's a social butterfly, but
Wow.
she's a bit more reserved because of her English.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's understandable though. Like I get it.
She's
been here for 13 years though. Eh?
I know, and
Yeah.
her English is fine, and everyone tells her that. But
It's like another South African friend I know, similar generation to her.
yeah.
Always blames English for not, connecting.
Yeah, and when she finds like she is different when it's with people that she can speak her own language.
Sure.
With. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, it's really cool. And you're on the team just with music and stuff, and
Yes.
love singing. Got a beautiful voice, by the
Yeah,
way.
it was cool to see you. I saw you worship
Amazing
the other week
voice.
for the first time. It was
Yeah.
really nice.
Thank you.
Really
I love
great.
that. Yeah, I love it.
You didn't sing and play though.
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no, maybe next time.
Cool. Do you like singing and playing?
I used to do that a lot, but it's because I used to do that at the previous church.
Okay.
I started with the kids ministry and then did the youth, did the team there, and then kind of went into the young adults. So yeah, I used to do that a lot more, sing and play. But I was probably a bit more in structured churches, like, there's only this amount of songs and this is the order.
Oh.
And there's no leading by the Spirit. So I'm a little bit sometimes, because my skill level is it's not like with Penina and the boys. They're amazing. I can't just play.
You can't
I kind of need to know what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And once I know, I prepare and I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Penina they are freaks, because you can just say any song to Penina.
Exactly.
And she'll just go, oh, yep.
Yeah, see, I'm not like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't even look at each other either. They'll all just be like
feeling it.
And then everything changes.
Yeah,
You
see,
watch
and
it.
I can't keep up with that.
Okay.
Like, I kind of need, this is the songs, I prepare them in this key.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then I'm like, yeah, I got
But I'll
this.
tell you, who's someone who's amazing at that now, that's Alex.
Yep.
Piano.
Oh, yeah. So what, was she not like that before?
She was brought up structured and that. But
Yeah.
hey, she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, I just saying that to encourage you to
Thank you.
just keep trying. And
Yeah, I should just do it.
yeah, they're not trying to, no one's trying to embarrass you or anything. It's just,
I know. Yeah. Yeah,
be
and
right.
the only way I'll probably get better is if I do it. And that's
Totally.
what- yeah, just need to play with them a bit more.
And
Yeah.
go over their place for devotions.
I know. I keep waiting for the invite. No, just kidding.
You don't get
There's
into
no
Just rock
invite.
up.
You rock up. They're like, oh, you're here. Good.
Where,
We'll
I'll
start
get the
now.
address. I'll get the
Yeah,
address
yeah, you need to
after.
get there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
just rock up.
But thank you for sharing.
No worries.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, I mean you share it so gracefully. It's like I still sit here and I'm like, wow, that's heavy.
Mm.
But you just have such a beautiful way of just sharing it so gracefully. So
Thank you, I
and
appreciate
it needs to be shared, you know, more and more. So unfortunately, I think it's a lot of people's story, but they don't have the courage or maybe the shame of it or to actually talk about it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
It's awesome to see the light at the end, you know, for people
Yeah.
who can
Absolutely.
exit.
Yeah.
And what a amazing light you are for that. So
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time.
That was so good.
Oh, thanks.
Whew.